Thanks, Nanette. Okay, we're coming to question 3 right now, and then once we finish this round, we'll be doing audience questions, so you may want to think about what you want to come up and ask. And so we'll go to the next question, and that is debate question 3, and Jeff will be having it first. What is your opinion regarding the positive and negative impacts from oil drilling and oil production operations near residential neighborhoods?
Thank you. I do want to lead with just follow up on a point before I begin here, because I thought the referencing of Manhattan Beach was an appropriate one for us. Manhattan Beach has had a 26 height limit for their downtown businesses in place since the early 60s. It has not changed. That community has developed just fine the way it is by setting that standard. I'm just telling you this notion of encouraged growth and so forth that you're going to hear is a dance we've danced before, so be careful. As to this important question, pivotal question, I have serious concerns regarding all the negative impacts associated with oil production, especially health and environmental dangers. If I had to decide today, based on the project planning application delivered by E&B last November, I would not support this project. Many important questions are left unanswered in the application, and it's far short of the innovative project we were led to expect. This in no way lessens my commitment to the process that is now underway, and my responsibility as a city council member to provide a process through which the oil company can make their case and to be open to hearing it. I would also say, please keep in mind, because this came up, I believe, in this last session that we had, community session, that it's important to keep in mind that the settlement that we reach does not presuppose a position on oil drilling. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. Carolyn?
Well, just last week, the city kicked off 2 studies with regards to the project. I know people want answers here and now. However, for a decision of this magnitude, the city must be allowed to conduct due diligence. When people say, I want the information so I can make an informed decision, they should never be disparaged. If a candidate or a council member says, I don't have all the information that's been verified yet in order to make a decision, they should never be vilified. Okay? So, I have knocked on 800 doors, and I have talked to almost 200 people. And you know what the majority of them say to me? Just get me the information so I can make an informed decision. And so for all of you people out there, I stand with you. When I get verified information, then I will come forward with an opinion on this. But until then, I will wait to get the facts.
Thanks, Carolyn. Haney?
About 6 months ago or so, as we were evaluating the proposed oil project, I was convinced that I have enough information and I've gained enough knowledge to make a decision. And my decision was, I'm definitely opposed to the proposed oil drilling. And because of that, around that time, me and several other Hermosa Beach residents formed what is now known, and you've seen it signs all over the town, as Keep Hermosa Hermosa movement. A lot of my friends that started this process are here today. And basically, the goal of our movement is to educate people in Hermosa Beach about the proposed oil drilling project, let them know the issues between the proposal and the settlement and how these things work, and what happens if we vote yes, what happens if we vote no, and basically get people more educated so they can make their own informed decisions. As I'm sure other people mentioned here or mentioned later, it's at the end of the day, it's going to be your decision, not the decisions of people at the Hermosa Beach City Council. Our job at the council, if I get elected, and the council members that are there now, are to make sure the right questions are being asked, so the reports that you get, so that when you make your decision, are accurate, complete, and informative. But based on the information that I currently have, and based on my environmental engineering experience in dealing with similar issues, I have serious concerns about the air emissions, the noise, and the smell that's going to be associated with drilling and operating 30 oil wells in the middle of our residential area, next to the green belt, and next to where our kids play. I have concerns about the geologic concerns relating to subsidence that Redondo Beach has experienced and Long Beach has experienced as a result of oil drilling. I have serious concerns about the safety issues relating to potential gas leaks and explosions, and you probably heard of it.
Summarize, Haney.
Okay. I have issues about the traffic and infrastructure concerns relating to the trucks going in and out, or the proposed pipe installation if they have to install a pipe. And lastly, I have significant issues about the impact on our property values, having to deal with potential an 87-foot drill rig that's going to be right next to our homes.
Thanks, Haney. Greg?
Let me express my apologies. I was trying to kill a gnat over here earlier. I startled half the panel. I apologize. And I missed, and so I'm sorry. But this is an excellent question.
I thought you were a better shot than that.
Well, I wasn't using my gun. It's a very good question. It's a very serious issue, and I don't mean to make light of that, but I felt bad because I did startle some people up here. It is, as you've heard, it's a decision that all of you are going to make, and it's the council body has to support the decision that you make, and you need to make sure that you have people that you trust on the council to support that decision. When I first started running for Hermosa Beach, I talked to many people, had an opening, was invited to many of your homes, and I was listening very carefully, and at the same time I was very much like Carolyn, I was wanting to gather the facts. And I was listening to what everybody had to say, and I've been still listening. And what has recently forced my hand in the sense of I have now an opinion is the incident that occurred in Hawthorne, where a water well expelled days and weeks of methane gas that required the closure of the 105 freeway and the evacuation of hundreds of residents in the area for over 2 weeks. A leak like that, where we're actually looking for oil and gas, is going to evacuate this whole city. It will put us at a standstill. It will be ecologically a disaster. And until I have more answers that this can be done in an ecologically safe and environmentally safe and just safe altogether way, I do not support the drilling at this time. And I feel very strongly about that. Like I say, it was just very clear to me that they lost all those folks. If that was to happen, however, if you were to vote in favor of drilling oil in the community, it would have to be the most modernly, technologically advanced drilling system and containment system that we could ever provide before I get behind the incident, behind the issue of drilling. And you know, the question asked for what are the positives and negatives. Yeah, there's some money hanging out there, but where does the money go? It goes to Thailand's, it does go to some to the school district, and a small stipend goes to us, but the majority goes to the oil companies and those that are represented by the oil companies, including the person that sued us, Mr. McPherson. I want a decision that's based on fact and knowledge, not emotion. And so that's my position at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Nanette?
I used to work for a private charity foundation called the Fuller Foundation. When I was the executive director there, I worked with environmental organizations like Hilda Bay and the Natural Resources Defense Council. We heard over and over again that it would be okay and it would be safe to drill. And then what happens? We hear about spills and all these environmental disasters. Now, as an attorney and as somebody who's worked at the U.S. Attorney's Office, you learn to investigate the facts. And something was mentioned, right? Carolyn had mentioned that she wants to get verified facts. Well, let me tell you, I've done that. I have been very, very diligent. I sat down with E&B Oil. I listened to what they said. I read their application online. Then I went down and I said, where has this been done before? In a community as dense as ours, and I was told, our Huntington Beach location. So I said, oh, I'd love a tour. So I go down there, and of course, there's not a whole lot going on. I wait a week and go unannounced, and there was a smell there that even I was nauseous when I got home. But I didn't stop there. I knocked on doors. I spoke to residents and asked them about their complaints and how they felt. I reviewed over 200 complaints from the Air Quality Management District against that plant. For me, I have enough verified information to make my decision. I'm against the project, and I think the risk is too great to take here. One of our valuable assets here are the beaches. To endanger that is a risk that I'm just not willing to take. However, as everybody mentioned here, it's not going to be up to me. It will be up to the voters. And even if you disagree with me on this issue, you still want somebody like me on the city council. Why? Because I'm going to be much more vigilant than somebody who doesn't think there's an inherent risk in oil drilling.
Thanks, Nanette. John?
Thank you. Well, this is where I'm really going to take the contrarian point of view. So I warned you ahead of time, But to me, you might as well ask me what I think, who I think is going to do well in the NFC West, because it has as much to do with this council election as anything that's going to be said up here. Because the oil is not in this council election. That's a year from now. And there's a lot of things that have to happen in between that year. The citizens, the one that Nanette, that Carolyn were talking about, that are asking for information are depending on the city council to get them objective, certifiable, balanced opinions and facts. We have studies that haven't even started to come in yet, but people are telling you their answer already. My job is to make sure that we can be a source of objective information. Now, when the citizens look up here, how many people do you think they're going to feel are objective, that aren't pushing an agenda, that are actually just trying to sort out what's actually true and what's not? This council, in this election, is about who's the best to handle all the issues that are coming up in the city. In a year, we have plenty of time to debate all these issues about oil. But right now, we're talking about who's going to be running this city for the next 4 years. And we're going to have problems that we haven't even begun to imagine. That's just the nature of being in politics. So what you want are people who think well, who come with an open mind, who don't come to an issue with their minds already made up, and don't bother to listen to somebody else because it doesn't agree with their opinion. You want objective, open-minded people sitting up here, and I promise you I will be one of those.
Thanks, John.